What?
We're recording.
Yeah.
We get so many questions from LSAT students every week. And so we thought we could record some of them for future LSAT people that are wanting to ask this. And so this week, one of Jasmene's students, or I guess like you said, a lot of your students are asking you is their timeline realistic? So what does that mean?
So I think this is
before we jump into that, we have been dabbling. Did you know that on Zoom, if you go to video and you click on choose video filter, there are different options that you can like change your impression to. It's like oh, there's a pig. It's like Snapchat but for Zoom. So you can go ahead and, so if we're boring you, you can go ahead and just add the Z's.
Oh, this is great. Inspired to do like pop art.
Yeah. That's what everyone's gonna do. Okay, anyway, so what does it mean when people are asking you if their timeline's realistic?
So I think this question is coming up quite a bit since we are, heading into January. The January test in a couple weeks. February is coming up pretty soon. That deadline to register is in 2 days. And so a lot of people are saying February is the last date that certain schools will take. I really want to go to school in the fall, like this coming fall. I don't really want to wait. But I think we're finding too that people are seeing that they are, rushing themselves quite a bit. They're not mastering the material the way that they want to. They don't feel like they have a good grasp on their application materials, and they're not telling the best story that they can. And so we're getting into questions of, what has to give? Do I just rush and submit, or do I really give myself time and just push the law school journey off till next cycle? So that is the context of this question.
And so I think that there's like two main points here too. It's that it's studying for the LSAT for February, but also getting your application done to submit as well. Like there's two keys like there. And I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to take the February LSAT. Well, I don't think that you should really be focusing on your application process. I think you can like keep notes in like a note section on your phone or whatever, like on like your personal statement, etc. But you don't want to be spending a lot of time on your applications if you're spending that time studying. And so once you take the test in February, you then have to work on all of your application stuff. And when are you really going to get those submitted too?
Definitely. And I think, different people have different styles. Like I was somebody who I got the advice to be working on them both at the same time so I could apply right in the middle of September, which terrified the heck out of me. But I also know that I am somebody who tends to get burnt out with one topic over another. And so knowing that I needed something that was more structured and then balancing that workload with something that was more creative and just making sure I got it done. If I had drawn it out and said I'm only working on one piece and then working on the next piece when I'm done with that, I probably would have gotten really burnt out because it would be only focusing on one topic or one type of work and not getting a little bit of variety.
I think it also helps that you were like getting it ready for September too, versus like February. It's like the last chance. So you have to take the LSAT too. Oh, I love that.
I don't even know what this is. I'm like, oh, look at all the chance. Okay.
Where the other thing is, so what should you be scoring if you are taking February now on your practice test?
This is a good question. Where did you start? I feel like it depends on where you started and what schools you're looking at. I would say, like, I think if you're seeing that you had a lot of improvement in the past couple months, or then maybe you could consider taking February if you're really, really trying to get into school this fall and want to be like the 1%. But if you're not seeing the improvement that you're wanting to see and you're taking this just to get it done, don't force it. I think you've got a lot of potential left. And why rush?
And don't force it, because like nothing's worse than taking the LSAT and knowing it's not your best, right? Because what would happen if you would take it again and actually, like, I always say, like, do you feel like you maxed it out? And if you haven't felt like you've maxed it out, oh, I love the mustache. But if you feel like you haven't maxed it out, like, why wouldn't you want to take it again at a later date and potentially get into a better school or have more money?
More
offered. We're all about those scholarships, because honestly, like, would you rather wait a year and potentially get a full ride, or go to law school this fall and have to take it all out in loans and be paying that off for a significant portion of the rest of your life? And so why would we want to, so like if your timeline is, if you're not scoring within 5 points of your goal score, I probably wouldn't be signing up for February, depending on what that goal score is. Would you be? And honestly, like if it's the first time, I think if you're retaking February, that's one thing. But if you're taking it for the first time, I don't think that I would want to apply this late. Like, why don't people want to apply this late in the cycle? Like, why do people not recommend it?
So it's like the difference between applying with like, you got 100% of your spots open in February. Most places are rolling, and so they're just kind of giving them out as people get their application. So with the same application materials, you could get in really easily in September and just like with the same application be denied because they just didn't have enough spots. Like competing for 100 spots in September versus the last two in February or March
And
or
this
April.
cycle is extremely competitive versus previous cycles, where if you are forcing February, you can go in and take February. But imagine if like you made the decision now to just wait and take it in June, how much more time you're going to have to actually study. You could take it in June, you could even retake it in July and have all your applications in by September.
I forget which resource it is that shows acceptances by month. Like
Oh,
it gives like a breakdown.
I think it's 7 Sage, right? I think 7 Sage does that.
I don't know. I found it once, told myself I would bookmark it, never did.
It's like the percentages. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So like
you apply.
it's something drastic where it's like you only see the like there's some where it's like you get a lot, like it's pretty even split earlier in the cycle, and then you get to like March, April, May, everything there is waitlist or denied because they just don't have the spots.
Absolutely. And like they might say like, oh, we can take in this many people with these like special things about them, but we only need one person to represent this. So I'm from like a rural area, or I grew up, like I studied agriculture. They're not going to take 10 people or 100 people that have like my exact application, or like some of the things that I bring to the table, but then I'm like, oh, this is great. She fits this need. Let's admit her in September versus applying later, or whatever those different niches are.
Mm-hmm.
They want a very diverse class in very different ways. All right, so I have this pulled up. So I think you can go here. So let's say that you have a 160 and you have a, what GPA should we put in here? Like a 3 through 4?
Let's do it.
Okay, and so you can choose like October to April. So like in October, these are the likelihood that we will get into. Okay, so we don't have a chance really at Yale, Stanford, Harvard, but we can kind of see what our likelihood is as we go down. So what school do we want to look at?
What about Temple?
Temple. All right, Temple. Where? Okay, do you see it?
I have no idea where that is.
Okay. Temple.
I thought it's in Ohio.
Oh, and is it? I don't think it's in Ohio.
I don't think it is, but like for some reason, that's where I associate it.
Okay, so Temple, if we apply in October, we have a 60% chance of getting in versus April, we have a 38% chance. That's kind of significant if you look at that. So like the versus like a January or February, which it goes down to a 50%. But let's say that our LSAT score is only a 155. Do those percentages change more dramatically? Dun dun dun. Let's go back to Temple. Oh no, Temple. So we would have a 35% chance in October, but it would go down to an 18% chance in February, down to a 13% chance in April.
That's really wild. Less than half all the way in April. Dang.
All right, so let's look at Ohio State. That goes from 22% down to 11. Back up, let's put it back up to 160. People are gonna be like, this is like, we could have done this ourselves. I think this is fascinating.
I mean, good. You could have done this yourselves. Do it.
Do it. Go see your school. So like you have a 50% chance at Ohio State in October versus a 34% chance in February. I mean, that's almost going down 25%. That's 1 in 4. So yeah, applying early, and there's more scholarship money available when you apply early.
There is no reason to play the hero here. Like, what is an honorable acceptance? Just getting in. Just get in.
Get in. And also,
make it easy for yourself.
many of us, and I think this is something that's hard for us to like grasp. So many of us do not like study to our full capacity under stress. I mean, a lot of us say, like, oh, I can do anything under stress, which might be true that we can do a lot, but we can do a lot more not under stress. And like you have to, I always say, you have to give yourself the space to actually learn. And if you feel the pressure of having to get the score by February, just think how like exhausted you're going to feel, and like everything's going to be like so intense, like everything's going to be all or nothing. Where if you wait for like a June test, you have 6 whole months where you can spread out your studying a little bit and truly understand these concepts. And maybe even fall in love with the LSAT like we have. Right? Any last words on in your timeline? I think most people too don't go into the LSAT not having a realistic expectation of how long it's going to take to study.
I think too, I think people are like, I need to get this done under this timeline and I'm going to make it work, which by all means do that. But I think sometimes we forget that there are certain things that it's worth, it's worth putting yourself before your timeline. Like you don't have to just make it work just because like, there's all these other things going on. Granted, I'm not saying this is always false, but sometimes, if you're seeing, okay, I do get it, I just need more time. Like with a skills-based test, like that's completely valid. It's not like any other test that you can just cram.
Absolutely.
Unless you build like 100 pounds worth of muscles overnight. But like,
it's like losing weight. Anything worthwhile takes time, right?
yeah, there is no lap band for the LSAT. Sorry.
All right. Any last words?
I just really like these filters, bro. Oh my goodness, wait, can we just call this unfiltered? Love it.